Finally, we have my man, Dave. Dave from the Slackers. Yo, welcome.
Thank you for having me, man.
So, first of all, let's drop the IG. Let's drop the social media.
It's Dave_the_Slacker, SLKR.
Nice. So, we have a special release. Something very special to your heart. What do we have here, sir?
We have a smoked white whiskey.
Wow, smoked white whiskey.
Yeah.
So, how did this smoked white whiskey come about?
So my boy Mike Ramirez, he's like the lead distiller at 18th Street.
Shout out.
My boy Mike.
Yo.
Yeah, so he reached out to me like a year ago and was like, yo, I have this opportunity for you. Fast forward, we met the owner and
boom.
He gave us this opportunity. I mean, it's been a few months, man. We've been really working on this. So these are all, if you can see, they're samples.
Come close. So samples one of one, pretty much.
Yeah,
prototypes.
like these are not the ones people are going to see on May 8th.
Wow. So I consider these the rare ones, the special ones, because these are the unique ones that are not to the public. This is dope. So I see some artwork, man.
Yeah.
Here. What kind of?
So I was inspired by the hoodie. So if you look at it, this is literally that on here.
Mm-hmm.
I just added these flowers because a week before I had to design it. My homie Ish, we were talking. He was telling me how it was like so like there's like this traditional there's like a traditional way of how they make these in Mexico, and it's like labor intensive and it's like a dying art form. And he was like telling me like, man, people ain't doing that no more, like it's dying out. And then he was telling me like, I love how you're still doing the sarape because it's like you're keeping that going. And I was like, I have to put it on the bottle.
You're heavily influenced, right?
Right. I mean, I just love color. I love that. And I just feel like with the sarape fabric, the way they do it, it's just too colorful for me. Yeah. Like I wouldn't wear it. So I was like, let me, flip it. And that's why I was like, these are all blues. So like all my sarapes you see, it was like all yellows, all orange, all blues. I just feel like it's just, I don't know, it's more attractive to me. Like I'll wear that.
Yeah.
Like I don't like the whole colorful stuff, Yeah. And then, so I added the flowers on this just to give it a, a limited edition feel.
So, speaking of limited edition, this is quite rare for someone on the east side. Let's make sure we have a close-up of that. You told me you wanted to make sure that on here was based out of the east side of Chicago. Why?
Because it's important, man. So as I started doing, like creative stuff and started meeting more people like, Freddie and everyone else, a lot of people don't know where the east side is. They're like, oh, East Chicago? Oh, Indiana? Nah. And then I have to tell them, like, by the horseshoe. And that kind of gets me upset because I'm like, how do you guys not know where the east side is? So I was like, so anything I do, I always try to let people know I'm from the east side,
Man, that's dope because you're putting love into the product. You're putting love to your space, to your home, and you're putting on the homies too, man. So that's pretty dope, man. I love what you're doing. How, I know it's still in the process, but can you talk about how this was made? Because you went from a beer from before now onto this. I think whiskey is something, a next step above. That's pinky up a little connoisseur. So that's a different market. Why this? What can we get out of you?
So like, all right, so everything that I do, there's always like, I always think like 2-3 years ahead. So when I did the beer, I did that knowing like I'm gonna get into liquor eventually. So I want, when my next collab comes, it's like, oh, this guy went from beer to now whiskey. There's like progress in that, and that's what I always like look. So like I just never like collab with like other clothing brands and stuff because it's like I just love product. So I always want to dive into like just other worlds and bring my world into it. So that's why I'll do like beer, I'll do liquor. I don't know if you see all my other products like lighters, it's just like with t-shirts. There's only so many t-shirts I can make. I just like designing. So that was like the one thing when I met the owner, because he had asked me like, would you just quit everything to do liquor? And I was like, yes. And he was like, what? Why? And I was like, because I'm at the point now where it's like anything I look at, you could design it. It's not just t-shirts. You know, I want to design anything, everything like that I can, as long as it makes sense.
Can we talk about what's next for you in your brain? What, since you're thinking 2-3 years ahead right now?
I have, because like even this was all, like everything that I've been dropping this year, I worked on that last year. You know, so I'm working on stuff now that's coming out next year.
I think it's pretty cool for someone who grew up on the east side to even have this level of Area 51 type of shit where we're trying to do some next level shit that we literally, via contracts and lawyers and smart motherfuckers, we can't discuss it. For you, that's, man, I've always been a fucking fan, so that's pretty dope. So, what can we discuss in the future for the brand? Do you want to stay with liquor? Do you want to stay with the culture? You have so many followers. You have so many people that, like you said, have their own brand but still unite. What do you see on the horizon for Slackers as a culture?
Yeah, I just want to just keep, you know, making product, and at the same time, like I look at my clothing as like, you know, when you go to a concert and then you leave the concert, you buy, you know, merchandise from that concert to remember that. So that's why it's like, you'll go to my event, you buy the liquor is the main, the headliner, but then you leave with a hat, leave with a t-shirt to remind you of that. So it's like, you know, I just want to continue making merchandise as like, you know, there's different chapters.
Can we talk about the beginnings a little bit of Slackers, of how it came about, the whole group, whatever you're comfortable with?
Man, that shit. I mean, it really started like in college.
That's, to me, that's a fucking process. And shout out to my man Freddie. That's a long voyage you had. You know what I mean?
Well, I could tell you how it started, like with me. Yes. And then I just went and started like, you know, grabbing my friends of like, yo, you're good at this.
You can give me.
All right, so I was like in this entrepreneurship program in college, and my teacher was like, write down like everything you enjoy doing. And then she's like, if you can't find that job, she was like, create it. And then that just stuck with me. And then that summer I came home and I got all my friends, like these are all friends I grew up with since kindergarten. And I was like, yo, let's do this. Yeah. Cause like even with this bottle, they were asking me like to like, what do you do? And I'm like, man, I do a lot of, you know. So it's like tough to like really explain what I do, cause I just wrote down all the stuff I enjoy doing.
That's wild, son. That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Once again, let's drop the social medias.
It's at Dave _the _slacker SLKR. Los LOS _SLKRS.
I feel like I'm about to get Men in Black right now, because we're dealing with some exclusive shit. We're dealing with some shit we can't really discuss, but to me, that's pretty fucking dope. And I wish you luck, my dude. I wish we can dive deep, but coming soon, we're gonna talk about some dope shit, much product. Everybody, Dave from Los Slackers.
Viva Los Slackers! All right. Let's go try some whiskey.
Man, my bad.